what's going on? It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. When we concluded the last episode, Phil was talking about his moms and the adult-child dynamic, and I asked him a question, did he understand why his mom was doing it? He said that he did because she was doing it because that's all she knew, but when he started to try to explain it, to me it seemed that he was sliding back and forth between the adult that understood why she did it, but the child that was still holding on to the issue of she should have done this, she should have done that, right? So I asked him, to try to stay in the adult state of mind and try to explain to us that, what more could she have done as an adult now, understanding that she did the best she can, best she could with what she had, right? What more could you have expected from her as an adult, not as a child? As a child would have said, Mom should have did this, Mom should have did that. Y'all understand what I'm trying to say? So I want you to look at it from the adult point of view and see if we can go further with this. Go ahead.
As an adult, me being the father, and today, right now, me knowing what, as an adult, I believe she failed to just really use her resources. And when I say use her resources, she was an advocate of the Church of God in Christ, faithful member of that, tither. And I believe that because of, the faith that she had as an adult, me right now, you move in that direction and you truly try to figure out what love is. As an adult, there was a lot more she could have done, but I don't believe that she felt that she had the support to do what she really wanted to do. I don't think she wanted to beat her children. I don't think she wanted to end up on drugs. I don't think she wanted to continue to sleep with men. I don't think no woman wants any of that. I don't think that's what a father wants from any woman that they may be. But at some point, even then as a mother, and I'm an adult right now, you got to just step back and be like, wait a minute, this is not it.
Okay, with all due respect, you're sliding back to the child.
Maybe
because because what KP said a few minutes ago, right?
I can't give her it sounds like I'm supposed to give her an excuse, and that's all she knew or whatever. I can't give her that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to find that space to give her an excuse. Well, this is what the card she was dealt and the hand she was given, and that's I can't. You know what I'm saying? Because the reason why I can't, and this is the reason why I can't, is because when I was abandoned and I left and I grew up, you know what I'm saying? We grow up. I stepped back and I'm like, wait a minute, this wasn't as hard as I thought it would, or it was portrayed to be in the hood. It wasn't that hard. All we had to do was do what we know to be right, not continually doing what we know to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got 7, if I'm her, I got 8 kids. I ain't going out to the club. I'm just not.
Okay. Let me interject real quick, and unless somebody else has something they want to say. Okay. I hear people a lot of times say that all we have to do is what's right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that easy, right? It is and it's not. And let me illustrate that like this. Let's say you tell a lie, right? You tell a lie. And that lie causes irreparable harm to somebody, okay? Irreparable harm. It causes, bad stuff to happen to that person. Pick it all the way up, It causes bad stuff to happen to that person, right? And you feel bad about it. Terrible about it. But you telling the truth can cost you everything that you've built, right? Everything. Reputation, job, wife, kids, everything. Things that you hold dear. And you know you're lying to yourself, right? And the right thing to do is to just tell the truth, right? And you let years go by, and time goes by, and you know that this lie is not helping you, right? And what happens with people is that they get comfortable in that space. And coming forward and telling the truth and saying this and saying that, they start to calculate what it could cost them. And it's not always the things that I named, like the reputation, family, this and that. Your state of mind. Accepting that you just was a bad, terrible person in the space that you occupied, that's hard to do. So when you say, just tell the truth, just do the right thing, what we're doing is projecting from a place of pain what we would have done to relieve the pain that we're feeling. Am I making any sense? So when we say to somebody, all she had to do was tell the truth, you're absolutely right. All she had to do was do what was right. You're absolutely right in that. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. You got a whole lot of layers to peel back, and people get better. People become better people when they've been through something by peeling the layers back one at a time. And it takes work. It takes real work. And again, I'm not trying to say that you should give your mother any excuse. What I'm getting at is the explanation of it all. Explaining it all. Because as an adult, you have to do something that I think that you might be a little reluctant to do. And it's what KP alluded to, is that resentment. You may not be able to see it, but that resentment, that's a layer that you're creating for yourself, right? It's going to make it difficult for you to move beyond a certain point. You may not believe that, but that's what we do. That's how layers get created, right? You're creating layers that are going to hinder you the same way she created layers. Your experiences created layers for you. Her experiences created layers for her. You got something in common here. See, you can learn from all the bad things that she did to you by not creating those layers that are going to put you in a position where, I'm not saying you're going to be like her. Absolutely not, right? But it's going to be some things about you that you're going to miss out on, like she missed out on, if you don't peel back these layers. Because we all do it in different ways. Layer on top of layer on top of layer, and that hinders our growth. That's that on that. She did it in one way, and you're doing it in another. And I've done it in other ways. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to learn to peel those back. And when you're resentful towards somebody, like KP said, when you're angry towards somebody, you're unforgiving towards somebody, and you're mad, and all of those are layers, right? Go ahead, KP.
And they're not going to go anywhere until you start dealing with it, until you want to get rid of them. You was a casualty of war, your mother's war. Your mother was in an environment that caused her to become addicted. And when a person is addicted, they out of tune. They're not themselves. And the things that they do is out of the norm. Because I was an addict. I started getting high on crack at 19 years old, all the way till I'm 42. And the things that I did was out of the norm. And my children and my ex-wife, they was victims of my addiction. I did things to them, said things to them. I caused infidelities in my home. You know, I caused them to cry and feel shameful when I cursed them out. You know, just because my addiction had me that way. And that's what happened to you. Your mom addiction caused you to become very vulnerable, resentful, painful, full of anger towards her because of her addiction. In our environment, sometimes we adapt, like I just said earlier, we adapt to our environment. And when they put crack cocaine in our environment, we adapted to that. And when we adapted to that way of life, that's the only way we knew how to survive, was getting high, to muster our own pains down. You continue to look at your pain and what you was going through, not knowing what your mom was going through at the time. Your mom probably had a basket full of pain and hurtness inside of her. I could guarantee you many nights that she probably was in her room crying because the way she treated you all, and wish that she can do better for you all. But when that crack got a hold of her, there was no turning around until she got sick and tired of it. Because I was in her shoes before. I was there. I know how this stuff take a hold of your soul. And when they got a hold of your soul, you are no human being no more. You're a monster. And we treat people with monster-like attitudes. So I understand what you're saying. But once I got older and realized and got myself clean, I realized what I went through with my family. And I started praying for forgiveness, ask God to forgive me so that I can be a better person for the future. You know? And I became a better person. You know, I put my past life behind me and said, okay, that's my past. I ask for forgiveness for that, and forgiveness for everybody that I hurt and everybody that hurted me. And once they get behind you, you believe in God, then as you know, all that is behind you, it's gone. Now it's time to live a new life. Well, I was listening to you earlier, the way you said you bully folks and did things like that. Is that something that you would teach your kids to do? The things that you grew up doing towards other people, the scheming, the robbing, the taking stuff. You know, is that something that you would teach your own child, your own kids?
I look at the resentment and the bitterness, you know, and the anger, because I grew with that in me. And you say peel back layers, and you know, I get all of that. But the reality of it is, I got a mind. I have a memory. You know what I'm saying? I can't get hypnotized and that memory go away. So there's no place of peace that I'm gonna have when I go back to that memory, because that did happen. So can I get over? Can I have a cordial relationship? Of course, I know how to. Yeah, that's it. But the resentment, the pain, the bitterness, the anger, I grew distorted. It's like I look at it as having a lake or a pond or whatever full of healthy fish next to a nuclear plant, and all of a sudden you go fishing in this pond and you pull out a fish and it's got 3 eyes. It's still a fish. You still got it from the pond, but that nuclear plant then caused this fish to mutate into something that's what I believe that a lot of things happen in just families, because I got other cousins, male cousins, who when we get together, we used to get together, because even to now that we avoid each other, because when we get around each other, we remind it's a memory of me looking, man, you just older now, but I still see what your mom did to you and how she bust your head with that pipe. We still see that. So it's almost like we grow, and we're supposed to grow up, but we're growing sideways, we're growing crooked, and we're growing up, and then we get in these relationships and we meet a woman who has the same type of poison with them, and they grow, and you know what I'm saying? So I believe the resentment is what reminds me, and the pain, it keeps me human. Okay, it keeps me grounded.
You know, go ahead, KP.
KP here again. Is that, you know that everything that you've been through, not disrespecting you, is that you raised up to be broken. And when we're broken, what we do, we try to find a solution, somebody to help us to straighten us back out. You know, when your car breaks down, you take it to the shop. When your DVD quit working, you take it to the shop. When our mind is messed up and we're broken inside, we try to find solutions and ways to better ourselves. And there's a lot of ways out here in society and in prison that you can get help to better yourself, to help you with them memories, with them emotions and those feelings that you store inside. Because as long as you hold on to them, you're going to always be broken.
How?
How?
How can he get help in here? They ain't going to help him in here.
I got help here, bro. I know there's help.
Yeah, if you go to these people, they're going to tell this man's business to everybody.
You don't necessarily have to go through the people. There's books, self-help books.
You can't get no books no more.
Library has books. I mean, there's self-help books on any category that you may be dealing with. Anger, resentment, frustration, pain, addiction, they're there. It's up to you to go get them.
So you got to do it yourself.
Basically, yeah. You know?
Yes.
But there are some decent people here that will help you and keep what you say to them confidentiality, because it's their code of ethic to do that.
I haven't met him.
Well, I have, and I've spoken with a lot of them. cried to him like a little baby, broke down. You know, when my pain come back up like his and the memories come, I go to the individual and I cried. Don't nobody know about it but you all now, and whoever else out there listening.
There's only 4 of them. You're fine.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, because I think healing can come to people when they are able to relate what they're going through with somebody else, right? So let me ask you this. Before you came to prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know anybody in prison?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, quite a few.
Intimately? I mean,
Yeah, brothers.
Somebody.
My brothers.
Did they share with you what they had been through in prison? Did they tell you how bad it was? Did you have any idea about what prison was really like through their stories?
I don't think I paid attention. They probably
didn't really pay attention, did you?
Because I was, yeah.
No, I can't even write this. This is good. Now let me tell you something. Hold on, let's check this out. And then when you came here, even though you're innocent, when you came here, what happened? Changed your life, didn't it?
It changed my life.
Changed you, didn't it?
But I don't think. Okay.
No, you were able to relate, right, to some of the things that you, when you got here, did you think about some of the things that your brothers told you that you hadn't paid attention to before?
I mean, yeah.
Or any friends that was here, right?
There was instances where I'm like, you know what?
Oh, man.
Yeah, okay, I see it.
I see it. Changed your life, didn't it?
Yeah.
So when you thought about your brothers or friends that you had in prison, when you went to the hole that time or wherever you been, where was you at that time you were locked up?
I was in Skills.
You was in the Skills one.
Yeah.
The Skills is a hospital, y'all. When we get sick, that's where we go to get treatment. And yeah, we ain't even gonna get into that. That's another show. But when you came out of that Skills, what was one of the first things you said to me?
It changed my life.
Changed your life.
Yeah.
Why? It was traumatic. What?
It was, yeah.
So think about the trauma that you deal with, right?
Uh-huh.
Right? Being in here. And the people that you know that's been locked up way before you and longer.
Yeah.
Now you understand them a little better now, what they go through, right?
I mean,
see, you see to me like you're avoiding. Okay, go ahead.
I get what they saying. But my situation is a little different. Because the reason why I say that is because I am innocent and I place myself. I've been stripped.
No, I'm not talking about.
So I look at this a little differently.
Okay, dig it. I'm not talking about the innocence or guilt of a person. I'm talking about whether you innocent or guilty. You're going in that cell tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, those types of things that are traumatic. Guilt or innocence doesn't do anything. Negate anything about when you go in that cell and that door closes behind you and you not knowing what time you're going to get out, or when you do come out, it's because somebody else says you can come out. Those types of things. You can relate to what somebody else is going through by being in the cell, about being told what to do. You can relate to that, right?
Yes.
It's when we can relate to somebody else's pain that we can find answers for the pain of our memories that we have. You understand what I'm saying? So all I was trying to get at is this. I'm not asking you or telling you that you should do one thing or another when it comes to your mother and the memories, because you talk about those memories. You can't get past those memories. But if you try to find a way to relate the layers that you have, and you got some, bro. I've been talking to you for a couple of months. You got some. I do too. If you can find a way to relate the layers that you have to the layers that your mother must have had, like the brother said, through the addiction and this and that and that and this, you might find a little glimmer of light to where you will be able to say, okay, I don't agree with nothing that she did to me and my siblings, but on some level you can come close to try to understand. It's not making an excuse for her. People do what they do. I believe in personal responsibility. And if it's not a mental issue going on, she got an answer for that. But if you can figure out a way to get up in that corner, that dark corner, where you can relate what you experienced, the layers you got, because you got bitterness on you and all this, and I understand that. You might be able to relate to what she's been through. Something made her bitter like that.
I mean,
something did that to her.
Do
you believe that?
I have empathy for her.
Mm-hmm.
I have empathy. I get that. You know what I'm saying? like I said, I know how to maneuver our relationship to where I can genuinely show love. I'm just being honest in this support group.
Yeah,
like,
oh yeah.
That's what's really going on with Philip. That's in my, you know what I'm saying? That's what's in my heart. Right. I can't sugarcoat it or paint it or any other kind of way. You ask me what I be going on in my week. This is what's going on in my week. I'm trying to pull back these layers. But here's the God is a great God. Here's the reality of it. That resentment, that bitterness, that anger, it keeps me humble to where I can be more compassionate to these guys because of the love that he gives me through this. Because I even ask him, why you ain't just, God, you know what I'm saying, why you give me this lady as my mama? I ain't asked this. I was tight, you know, she talking about I should have just aborted you. I'm like, well, why didn't you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always, one thing God has done me in this whole experience of being in prison, meeting different people, because I had a great life before this. It has made me 100% authentic, genuine, honest. I'm not sugarcoating. If I don't like you, I ain't gonna talk to you. I'm not even trying to figure out why I don't like you. If it happened, it's gonna be a natural, you know, all of that. I didn't have that before. So in spite of all of what I went through, I didn't have that genuine relationship or not how to connect to people. Prison taught me that because again, like I always said, you gonna be who the real you, who you really are in this place. This place is gonna shine that light on you. The real you gonna come out.
KP here. That's why we take what we go through as a kid, as a teenager, as a young adult, and we use it for our advantage to help other people. You've been through the Rocky Mountains of life as a kid. So now you're older, you take that experience and share with other people. Say, hey, this is what I went through when I was a kid. But now I'm an adult. I learned from that. It was a bad experience, so I know exactly what you're going through. That's what I do when I talk to my peers. I use what I went through to help others. You know, that I had to. You know, so when I say that I went through the trials, the Rocky Mountains, the rough side of the mountain, down in the gutter, down in the pit in the mud, I take that and I use it for the greater good and help other people. Hey, I was in the mud just like you. Let me tell you what I did to get up out of it. You know, let me tell you what I did as a kid when my mom used to beat me. I took that and got stronger with it. You know, so I mean, that's what I'm just saying. Take what you went through in life and use it as a learning experience to teach others to help get over theirs.
Okay. Well, anybody else got anything they want to say? Because I want to wrap this up.
I just realized this man don't talk to me. Is that why he don't talk to me? He don't like me.
He said if he didn't like you, then
I ain't up there with y'all, man.
No, it's him. Don't backpedal now. Don't backpedal now.
Don't take it that way. It'll happen genuinely. You know what I'm saying?
I got one more. I got one line I want to read out this book for real quick. It's Overwhelmed by Perry Noble. I knew that without Christ, I would constantly be overwhelmed by life. But in him, I could overcome anything this world might throw my way. That's it right there. That's it right there. Find your way. Go through him. Anything you go through in this world, you can get through it.
You got anything you want to say, Sean, before we wrap this up?
Yeah, just a little. I knew I grew up with a lot of bitterness and resentment, you know, with what happened, you know, in my issues when I was growing up. And I stayed drinking that wormwood drink until I was able to forgive. Forgiveness is not about what the person did, because that's not yours. Forgiveness is, to me, it was not about giving another person an excuse. It's about the shackle that's on my heart. That unforgiveness is a constant drink of wormwood. It just continues to bitter your soul. And now it expands to every other aspect of your life. How you conduct your relationship with your cellie, all the way to how you feel about a romantic partner. It'll poison everything. And the hardest thing to do was get over and forgive myself for what I did. Not my crime, not anything like that, but it may take more than one episode to get to forgiveness, but man, that forgiveness right there, it's a chain breaker.
Yeah.
And that chains, we're our own jailer when it comes to that. We put ourselves. There's more people in prison out there, brother, than there are in here. Because in here, like you say, brother, makes people come to themselves.
Who you really are.
You know, but out there, they chain themselves up all the time. That unforgiveness, bitterness is a poison.
Corey, you got anything you want to say?
I kind of feel like I'm irrelevant. I've never done drugs, and I don't drink. I was too young, so, and I just never saw the attraction of drugs. I mean, I feel like, I don't really have a lot to. I had a mean ass old man in here that my dad kind of looked out for me. Anytime I ever thought about it, he kind of smacked the crap out of me and wouldn't let me.
Yeah, but I was a drug dealer. Ain't that something? So sad. So sad.
I blame the schools.
You blame the schools? No, it ain't the schools. It wasn't the schools. KP, you got anything? Well, you already said that last. You got anything you want to say, Phil?
I mean, like I said, this is our support group, and I get the self-help techniques. Trust me, I have a relationship with Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior. Hands down, he's walked me through this. That's why I can sit here and walk in the light and be transparent. It doesn't matter to me who knows what I've gone through. You know what I'm saying? There are layers, and it's gonna get deeper with me, and I'm gonna show people like, hey, it's okay to get deep. We all don't have it correct, but I want it corrected. I want it healed. I want that little Philip way back. I want him to be healed, and I want this tree to grow up straight. But I can't ignore the fact that I got some things we need to sit down and talk about. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it this, at least I got to do it this way.
That's what's up. Well, I'm going to wrap this thing up by saying appreciate y'all doing this, and I'll see you next time. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe and the support group. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.
I'm getting so tired.